Welcome to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Night Nation's only call-in show goes live now.
Alrighty, hello and welcome to Knightline, the morning after, coming to you live from the Victory Casino Cruises.com studios. I am Andrew Phegley. Joining me is Kyle Israel and Sam Albuquerque, of course. And we're here, and you can call in, taking your calls, 844-225-5580 on the Dever team line. And you can send us texts at 21232 on the Little Greek Fresh Grill line, or you can tweet me at AP_Knightline on Twitter. Kyle Israel, how you doing?
I'm doing very good. Good morning. I'm glad to be here after a road win this season. Those are always questionable going into it, so very happy to be here today.
Exactly, yeah. I don't think that it was a bad thing either.
No.
There's some people that aren't grading it very high. So we won 34-31 over Tulane, 3-point win, which, you know, if you watched the game, I think it was a little bit. That doesn't explain it very well, as far as I'm concerned. I thought it was a little bit more than a 3-point win. As far as the way that they played in the feel, yeah, I didn't feel that at any point that we were going to lose that game.
No,
at any point.
No, not at all.
That's kind of the way that I judge things, and I know that may be a little bit weird.
Yeah.
But I was talking to Sam on the way in this morning about that, like walking into the door of the studio here. And I said, you know, this is kind of the way that I judge the way that things are going, is my gut feeling. And if I'm worried about losing this game, then we obviously played pretty bad. Obviously, I watch what's going on the field.
Right.
But, you know, I use my gut a lot in general things, and even football, you know, so it's one of those things.
Well, I mean, you have a 34-17 lead at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Could we have done more to shut them out of the game and make the score disparity a little bit more than what it ended up being? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. But when you have a 17-point lead on the road, where we've struggled some this season against the Tulane team that hasn't been beat at home since last year, and has played good football throughout the course of the season. They were reeling a little bit. I think they had lost 3 of their last 4, but they for a Tulane team that historically isn't the best program, this is a better football, one of their better football teams. So, yes, could we have closed them out stronger? 100%, no doubt. But we felt in control, and that's what you want to do is stay in control of the game. Tulane made a little bit of a run, but they scored with 26 seconds left to make it a 3-point game. It's not like they had the ball with an opportunity to go down and tie the game or anything like that. So I feel like it was a more dominant performance and or a better win than maybe the final score showed. And sometimes, uneducated fans are going to look at just scores and stats,
right,
and make their opinions about how they think the game went.
Well, I mean, if you look at the stats, it wasn't horrible either. I mean, by any means.
Almost 500 yards of offense again.
Yeah, and I mean, they had some offense in there as well, but we had 197 on the ground, a net of 165 because of a couple of things bringing some stuff back, and they had. I'm trying to find the thing got kind of messed up here. Okay. They had 267 on the ground.
Yeah, they ran the ball very well. That's the concern.
221 net. So, yes, they ran the ball against us pretty good, but that's, kind of what they do. One of the things, though, that I saw in this game that I was really excited about, and I know the fans, even some of the ones that we make fun of and all that stuff, some of those fans were clamoring for Dylan Gabriel to run a little bit more, and he did.
He did.
Quite a bit, actually.
Led the team in rushing.
Yeah,
58.
Absolutely. Yes, so that's good.
And that is
67 yards.
I mean, we've had conversations in this very studio early in the year when you're talking about Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, and us kind of just clamoring for Dylan to run the football, or at least keep defenses honest, right? And you could see yesterday Tulane, was using a linebacker to spy Dylan, and it's not like Dylan each run yesterday was just running in open space. He made moves. He intelligently got down, protected himself. And when you can get 8, 10, 11 yards a clip, he's not going to break a 60-yard touchdown run. That's not the reality. However, neither did I. But I always knew that I could get 6 to 10 yards, keep defenses honest, and make my ability to run the zone read later in the game more efficient. And so that's what we need out of him. We need him to, in pass plays, scramble and get first downs. And in the running game, just be there and do enough to keep teams honest. And now we're finding out that he has those capabilities. It's not going to be Mackenzie Milton. Coach Levy said it, our offensive coordinator and quarterback coach, in an interview this week. He said the difference, Mackenzie does things with his feet and breaks out of the pocket and makes plays. Dylan prefers to stay in the pocket, so they're different. We're being told that they're different, okay?
Yeah, and we knew that.
60 yards rushing from him is arguably what helped us win the football game.
Absolutely. 12 runs for 4.8 an average, and that's pretty good. He picked up first downs a couple times that were really necessary, so I'm good with that.
And he's not even 19.
Good. No, I know.
He's playing with 22, 23-year-olds. Let me tell you something. Dylan's composure and ability to perform at a high level is remarkable considering his age, considering who he's playing against, and then you throw in the expectations of a fan base that is probably, has higher expectations than we ever have before. I feel very, very confident in what we have with Dylan. And I think yesterday was a good example of what he's capable of.
Offensive line play was a little bit iffy at times, I believe.
We've got to improve with the offensive line, at least be more consistent.
We've got good players there. I'm not sure what the issue is.
We do.
This is something that kind of baffles my mind because these guys aren't slouches. They're good players. And we have one of the greatest offensive line coaches that there is, as far as I'm concerned.
I think when you look at, you try to look at what other teams are doing, right? Like, how are they defending us? What are they doing to confuse the line? Our offensive line in some of this really up-tempo style offense, they don't have many variables each play. They don't have many schemes because we're snapping the ball in 10 or 11 seconds, and really Dylan's the one making the decision whether it's going to be a run or a pass. And so for the offensive line, it's not like they know that we're running 46 power to the right and they can put their hand in the dirt and just blow out, especially, if they're running a run-pass option where they can't get down the field. Now, we've talked at length about that before, but our offensive line has to improve, and they're better than what I think we've seen consistently throughout the season. We've seen some super bright spots, but collectively as a whole, you would imagine that they would be more of a strength or more dominant than what we've seen. Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, I agree. All right, 844-225-5580 is the phone number. You can give us a call and give us your take. I want to know from you guys if this was the way that you expected this game to turn out. I want to know what you think about DG running. I want to know what you think about DJ Mack coming in and doing some good things. We haven't really gotten to that yet. I think that this team showed a little bit of heart this week, more than they may have in the past few games.
Certainly more than Tulsa.
Yeah, especially more than Tulsa. And then, more than most of the road losses, obviously. I think that they actually wanted this win. Yeah. They knew that they were going in there. And Tulane, like we've said, is not the greatest team in the world, but they're not the worst team either. And they've had an exceptional run. They were undefeated at home, so they wanted to keep that streak alive.
Yeah,
They've been undefeated at home for a little while. I think that
8
they were
straight games or something.
I think it was maybe even more than that, like 10 or something like that. But it was, they were, all season at least. You got anything, Sam?
Yeah, a couple things I saw. I thought DJ was awesome in the red zone and those packages we put into him. And I almost feel like every time we're in a goal line stance, I want DJ in there instead of Dylan Gabriel. The incompletions, we've talked about this before, really concern me. Like, Dylan is still throwing way too many incompletions for my liking. I think he went 24 for 46.
Yeah.
I understand it's a scheme. We've talked about this before with Kyle, and he said a lot of the times when you're pushing the ball down the field as much as we are, you're going to get incompletions, and I get that. But I always go back to just the mindset of, if you're that accurate of a passer, I've seen you be that accurate of a passer, don't miss as many throws as you make. I think 22 incompletions is concerning, no matter what the scheme is. So I would love Dylan to shore that up a little bit. Like you said, he's 19 years old. I'm not going to sit here and criticize the kid.
He's not 19 yet.
He's 18.
He's
still 18.
Yeah, so I'm not going to criticize him because he's still got a lot of growing to do. He's a true freshman, but it is a bit concerning looking forward. At least for this season, it's not as much of a concern because we're talking about non-New Year's Six bowls. It's still a 9-win season looking ahead if we win against USF next week. So
we will.
Yeah, I believe so. USF is not good this year. No. But just something that I want to see him improve in each week while he's in live action. Other than that, the running game is something that concerns me. Mm-hmm. I get it that a lot of this was, play actions and then Dylan keeping it. But when Dylan Gabriel's your leading rushing attempt, it doesn't make me feel great about the running backs that's been are supposed to be our strengths throughout the season. So I think those were my biggest takeaways. Love DJ in the goal line, fourth down stuff. Dylan running was promising because I liked the fact that he ran, but it doesn't make me feel good about our running backs. That's supposed to be our strength, and the incompletions are worrying.
Yeah, there were a lot of drops, though. I will say there were a lot of those passes that were dropped.
There were. And listen, I know I don't want to harp on this too much, but I just want to put some context behind this and frame this a little bit about Dylan Gabriel's age to some extent, because I did take snaps and start games as a true freshman at UCF, notably on the road at Penn State, and I turned 19 August 25th of my true freshman year. So the very beginning of my true freshman year. Dylan is in his true freshman year, is still 18, doesn't turn 19 for a little bit longer. So there is a kid that is still a teenager that may be the age of what some guys are still playing high school football, and we're essentially putting our program on his shoulders. And so I think if you take a step back and look at what his production is and the success we've had with him, when going into the season, guys, he wasn't going to be our starter. I mean, he wasn't even going to be in the first rotation, to compete for the number one job. That was Brandon Wimbush and DJ Mack. So considering where we've come from with what our expectation of Dylan going into this season was to where we are, and still his age being 18, I think you put all those together and look towards the future and say, man, we're in a really good position at quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Sam.
No, I was going to say, I do agree with you. We're in a great position at quarterback. My thing has always been the expectations that the administration and the coaching staff had put on this team. Mm-hmm. Because if it's Alabama, if it's LSU, if it's one of these programs, you don't say that the quarterback's age we should just be happy with. And I understand we're not those programs. I'm not going to sit here and pander to UCF Nation and say we're Alabama, we're as good as LSU, because we're not. But at the same time, when Danny White comes out and says we're a Power 5 program, we have to hold ourselves to that standard. And that's always been my issue. And so I understand Dylan's 18. But if Tua can go out into a national championship game and win that game for them, we can hold Dylan Gabriel and tell him that he can't throw 22 incompletions. And that's my only point. Now, I'm not going to say it's fair, because it's not, because he's 18, and I remember being 18 and not accomplishing anything close to what Dylan's accomplishing now. And he's awesome. I love Dylan Gabriel. I think he's a great quarterback. I think he's going to do great things. But I also think it's fair to criticize a kid when we're going to hold our program to that standard.
Yeah. Let me just read a couple things from the UCF notes after this game. They put out post-game notes. Dylan Gabriel threw a touchdown pass for the 11th straight game to start his career, and now has 25 on the season, which is tied for 6th most in a single season at UCF, 18 years old. Gabriel also rushed for a season high of 58 yards. We knew that. He finished with 317 yards passing, his 4th 300-yard of the game, which is tied for the 6th most in a season by a UCF quarterback, and he eclipsed the 3,000-yard mark for the season, currently ranking 5th most in passing yards in a season with 3,123 yards as an 18-year-old.
Yeah, so and I agree with you, Sam, and I honestly, I wasn't, in my explanation about his age, it really wasn't in regards to how he performed yesterday at all. It was more just kind of putting some context behind it, but I was just as concerned as you were yesterday, because there were throws down the field that were. I mean, not even close, right? If I'm being nice a little bit. However, if we just try to take a step back and look at the body of work, which you just did there, Andrew, with those notes, it just makes me feel more comfortable about the future and more comfortable for the people that are riding on Coach Heupel and, calling for his job and those things. Like, this guy gets to work with Dylan and some other guys that are going to just make our whole team better and make our coaching staff better.
Absolutely. All right, we'll get back to this talk right after these words here. We'll be right back.
It's a Thanksgiving Day feast on ESPN 580 Orlando. First at noon, the Chicago Bears travel to Detroit and battle the Lions. Then at 4 p.m., the Dallas Cowboys welcome the Buffalo Bills to AT&T Stadium. Then for dessert, the Atlanta Falcons welcome the New Orleans Saints to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's a Thanksgiving NFL feast, and it's all right here on ESPN 580 and FM 96.5 HD2. Football lives here.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else, New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline and Knightline Post Game Live. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
If you are one of the millions of men suffering from ED or PE, Premier Men's Medical Center can help you in one visit, guaranteed, or you pay nothing. Tried Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra, and they've let you down? We can help you now. Call 407-270-3940. 407-270-3940. That's 407-270-3940.
Honor Flight Central Florida is an all-volunteer charitable organization with a simple mission: to honor and provide closure to our most senior veterans by taking them on flight missions to Washington, D.C. Learn more and find applications to be on an honor flight by visiting honorflightcentralflorida.org.
Why do so many jewelry buyers choose International Diamond Center?
The transparency is there, the trust is there, and of course the quality.
That's Ross Sanchez, who's been an IDC customer for over a decade, always coming back when there's a special occasion in his life.
Obviously the selection is best in class, the value is fantastic, the ownership is dedicated to earn your business as well as keep your business for future years.
For Ross and so many others, it's not just about the amazing prices, it's about the experience. With no pressure, no games, no commission salespeople.
That's why I bring my friends, colleagues, and business professionals into International Diamond Center.
And it's about a company that cares as much about the community as it does the bottom line.
They just continue to prove their excellence by giving back to the community, whether it's an academy, a dream fund, a hospital organization. International Diamond Center has a big heart.
International Diamond Center, proud to be a part of this community and honored to be your jeweler. Get store hours, directions, and more at shopidc.com.
You've heard us talk about the great food at our good friend Kyle Israel's restaurant, The Little Greek Fresh Grill. The Little Greek now has franchises available. Please call 407-697-2272. That's 407-697-2272 to see what The Little Greek can do for you. Also check out The Little Greek's newest location at 3131 Daniels Road, Suite 104, Winter Garden, Florida. The Little Greek Fresh Grill. Fresh, flavorful, fabulous.
Whether it's on AM 580, FM 96.5 HD2, Alexa, or Google Home, we are everywhere you hear audio. ESPN 580 Orlando, Orlando's home for the biggest events in sports.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, that is correct. This is Knightline the morning after, and we are back live from the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studio, home of the only legal sportsbook in Central Florida. This is Andrew Phegley, got Kyle Israel here, and also we got Sam Albuquerque, man in the controls. And so you can give us a call, 844-225-5580, 844-225-5580. We want to talk to you guys about this game or whatever else is going on in Night Nation. There's all kinds of stuff this week. And you can also give us a text at 21232 on the Little Greek Fresh Grill text line, 21232 for a text, or AP_Knightline on Twitter. So, we were talking about the football game, obviously. UCF wins 34-31 over Tulane. There's also some big stuff going on out at UCF today, actually. Two big things. Soccer plays at 6 p.m. against Missouri State in the second round of the NCAA soccer tournament, which is really big, so you can go out there and watch those guys. And before that, volleyball in the AAC championship tournament game final today at 1:30. So big stuff going on, playing for a couple championships. NCAA championship with soccer, which is really, really cool. They have done exceptionally well this year. And then volleyball in the American championship tournament.
I mean, I think it's important to highlight those things because a lot of people focus on football or basketball, but when you try to, specifically, to what Danny White is doing for our program, across the board, we are competing at the highest level that we ever have. Certainly soccer, we're now known as a national, I wouldn't call us a power, but somebody that belongs in the national conversation.
In the top 5.
But we're in the top 5. Yeah, we are a power this year for sure. And then volleyball, Todd Dagenet has been there for, essentially since I was playing and is doing a phenomenal job this year. So give credit to Danny White, not just for what we've done in the sports that draw a lot of attention, but our soccer program is now arguably one of the best in the country. And that's saying a lot because a lot of good soccer, you don't find it in the state of Florida. You find it, in North Carolina, the Northeast, and we have that down here now. So kudos and congratulations to our soccer team and volleyball team, and let's go get some championships.
Yeah, and volleyball, this is the inaugural AAC championship tournament. They haven't had a tournament in the past, so this is the very first one, and we have a very good chance of winning that tournament today. Basketball as well, we can talk about. You were at the basketball game, so you can talk about basketball today, which is, they won a last-second thriller over Charleston.
Yeah, and Charleston came into that game 3-1. I didn't really know what to expect or how to judge our team based off the competition, but the more that I saw Charleston play, they are a very good team. But, we were down by 9-10 points in stretches in that game. And I just think, what we've been able to do as far as bringing some transfers in, Devin Ingram out of Alabama, who started 93 games for them. If you don't know that he's on our team, he's a lot of fun to watch at the point guard position. And we have a number of transfers that have come in and played well. And so we fought yesterday and we battled. And obviously, it was right during a football game, so I didn't get to see the complete second half of the football game because I was so, really into basketball. But our basketball team, for those of you who have thought our chance was last year, we almost made it to the Sweet 16. Well, this team this year is pretty good also.
This team this year has heart, and we don't know a lot of the guys on there, number one. So the whole start of the season is a little bit weird because we're getting to know those guys. But Colin Smith is back.
Yep. Playing really well.
Yeah, scored 21 points yesterday. A great game by him. He's basically the guy as far as, if there's one guy that's really making things happen. He is. So he's the star at this point. Anyway.
He is. And again, I say Devin Ingram because of just, the exposure of SEC play.
He's
and
an exciting player as well.
He is. And I think that Devin Ingram is a guy that, if he can average 11 to 14 points a game for us instead of the 8.9 or 9.1 that he averaged at Alabama, number one, he's a for sure pro prospect with his size. But number two, he's a type of player that we've never really seen at UCF before at the point guard position. And when you have somebody that has that much experience at such a high level, it adds intrinsic value to your program. And so I think, we got to give Coach Dawkins some credit because it's not like he just rested on the laurels of last season and our run and just said, okay, it's time to rebuild. He said, the heck with that. We're going to go get guys to compete right now. And he did a very good job doing that. And he deserves to have a crowd out there watching him.
Absolutely. Hey, Sam, are you a basketball fan at all?
I am a huge basketball fan, not so much college basketball. I did get into the tourney run last year, but, just looking at this year's team, a lot of the things that you guys said, losing guys like B.J. Taylor and Aubrey Dawkins and Taco Fall to the league is tough. I don't think BJ's actually in the league, but losing him to graduation and so forth is obviously tough. But, like you said, Johnny's doing a great job bringing in Ingram from Alabama. and just not resting on his laurels. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Danny White is setting a precedent that we need to hold him to. And in basketball, it seems, and also in football, I don't mean to throw some shade on football. I didn't mean to do that at all. But in basketball, they've proven that they've been doing that.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're going to get back to football, obviously. We're going to talk a lot more about basketball later on. We have a text here that I want to get to, going back to football. Question, how do we fix the too many men on the field problem? It's just a matter of drills. Is it just a matter of drills and reps? Did we have a penalty for it this week again?
Yeah, we did.
I knew that there was a couple of times where we had issues getting people on and off.
I think we called timeout when we had too
I
many men on the field.
I know at one point we did have, when there was a substitution we made a late substitution, and then Tulane was able to make a late substitution, and it gave us the clock ran out. Mm-hmm. So we had the penalty for that. I can't think. I don't know why I can't think right now. But
too many men on the field.
We had the penalty of when the play clock runs out.
Oh, yeah. Delay game.
Delay game.
I should know that one.
It's hot in here today.
It is a little warm. They put the delay games on the quarterback, so I'm very aware of that one for sure. But, definitely – I don't have the answer 100% how you fix that. I mean, the coach has got to fix the number of players on the field. That's simple, There's a lot of things that have to go on as far as fixing things. Mm-hmm. There's quite a few things that need to be fixed. That's one of the ones that gets a little bit annoying. Stuff like that, for sure. Right. Yeah. So, hey, we got a call. Let's go to this guy, Christian in Fort Lauderdale. Hey, man, Christian, thank you very much for calling. What's on your mind today?
Sure. Good morning, gentlemen. No, I was listening to you guys talking about, and I don't know the guy's name in the studio that was concerned about DG's, accuracy yesterday, and he did seem a little bit off, but I was counting the drops, and not just drops that where it hit the guys in the fingertips and they could have, should have had it, but I mean in the hands, in the numbers, Jacob Harris streaking across the back of the end zone. I mean, it hit him in the helmet. You got to catch that. Mm-hmm. AK had 2 drops out in the flat where he had wide open field, and it hit him in the hands. I think, it was probably like 6 drops just right in the hands or in the numbers or in the helmet that would have put Dylan Gabriel up over 60% yesterday, which I think for our offense, as much as we take shots downfield, is fine.
Yeah, the return of Greg McCray. The return of Greg McCray as well, and he dropped multiple balls coming out of the backfield, which it's probably a little bit of rust on him for being injured and not being out there. But I think they need to do something. They need to get like Gabe Davis does on that judge machine after practice and catch passes maybe.
Well, but that's pretty uncharacteristic for our guys too. I think it was just in a weird game. It was a little off. Even Dylan Gabriel, he was off on his passes. So my point is, I'm not concerned about DG's accuracy. I think he's going to be fine. I don't think our guys catching passes helped him out at all yesterday.
Yeah, so Christian, I'm the one that complained about the incompletions. And I want to make the point that I don't think Dylan is inaccurate, because I think he's a very accurate passer, and that's exactly why I'm concerned about the incompletions. You're right. There was drops. You said you counted 6. 6 minus 22 is how much? I'm bad at math. That's
16.
That's 16. It's still probably 5 or 6 too many, I think. So especially when a guy's as accurate down the field as Dylan is, and that's my concern. I will say Tulane may be a little bit of a mirage, but I've seen it throughout the season.
Agree to disagree.
Fair. Thanks for listening, Christian. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Christian.
All right, man. Thank you very much for your call. Appreciate it. All right, well, that's good. We got we got to go to a break here real quick, and we'll be right back.
Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative. Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com.
The following message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Natural disasters can be unexpected and devastating to your home or property. If your home or property is damaged and needs repairs, it's important to use only Florida licensed contractors. Remember to check their references, get everything in writing, and don't pay up front. To verify your contractors are licensed, contact the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation online at myfloridalicense.com. That's myfloridalicense.com.
Why is it necessary to see a large selection when choosing a diamond?
Most diamonds look great when they sit by themselves.
International Diamond Center owner Keith LeClaire says only when you see multiple diamonds side by side can you see the entire spectrum.
But when you compare it to multiple diamonds, now you see a variance, and now you're going to be able to pick out the best diamond that will fit your needs.
So depending on what's important to you, you can go up or down on the clarity or color scale to find the perfect stone. The problem is that most jewelry stores don't really specialize in diamonds, so they can only show you one or two in your price range. But at IDC, that's never the case.
IDC is one of the largest, most successful independent jewelers in America. Period.
So you can see 10, 15, 20 or more diamonds and make the right choice with confidence.
We're going to be able to show you multiple diamonds in your price range for you to make a good decision.
International Diamond Center, taking all the mystery out of buying diamonds.
We are the diamond experts.
With 4 convenient Orlando locations.
Let's say you have ED, male impotence, or maybe you suffer from PE and can't satisfy your partner. If you have either or both of these embarrassing conditions, Premier Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Schwartz, a specialist in men's health.
If you're experiencing ED or PE, Premier Men's Medical Center offers custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain and no surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Premier Men's Medical Center has patients lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your first visit is free. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call 407-270-3940. We guarantee that you'll see results on your first visit, or there's no charge for your consult. Call Premier Men's Medical Center now at 407-270-3940. That's 407-270-3940.
The home of Monday Night Football is ESPN 580 Orlando. The Baltimore Ravens travel to LA and battle the Rams. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. right here on ESPN 580 and FM 96.5 HD2. Football lives here.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, we are back live from the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studio on ESPN Orlando 580. And we're taking your calls, 844-225-5580, 844-225-5580, or your text, 21232, on the Little Greek Fresh Grill text line and the phone line. I fail to mention sometimes it's the Dever team line. Travis will not be happy with me. All right, so this is Andrew Phegley, Kyle Israel. We got Sam Albuquerque in the other room over there. And so we got a text here that I want to take really quick. How good can this defense be next year? I see signs of greatness and several playmakers emerging. I was thinking the same thing yesterday, actually. There's a couple guys, especially Tremon Morris Brash. Mm-hmm. I think that dude is going to be an absolute superstar. He was the guy, if you guys don't know, he's a freshman, and he was the guy that was in the Gatorade All-Star game or whatever at the Citrus Bowl last year and gave his commitment there, basically.
Oh, I remember him.
They call him Drop. That's his nickname.
It's a hell of a nickname.
It is, yeah. And he told the story, and I won't get into it here, but the story's kind of funny about why they call him Drop and all that stuff. But he's kind of a character. He actually got to speak with the media for the first time the other day, and so he's a little bit of a character, and he's going to be a superstar as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, there's a lot of guys across the defense. Obviously, there's some question marks in the defensive backfield next year. Are guys coming back? Will they go to the league? And we have some of those guys at the linebacker position. Nate Evans is a senior. Yeah.
So Nate Evans is gone. Neville Clark is gone. He'll go to the NFL.
Brandon Hayes.
Yeah. Yeah,
so there are a number of guys that we do need to replace that have become household names this season, and that was what we were talking about at the beginning of the year, like who will become household names, and we just named some right there. But when you look at the youth of the defensive line specifically, I think that if we're going to compete at the highest level long term, we have to be able to win the line of scrimmage. And that is not what is concerning to me, but I think that we need to look at over the next 12 months is where are we at with our offensive front and our defensive front? Because if we're going to, compete again next year for an opportunity to run the table, we're going to need to play teams where we can establish the line of scrimmage, and that defensive line and offensive line is going to be crucial to do that.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm looking forward to what the defense can do. And our defense is a lot better than they look sometimes on the stat line as well.
Well,
we've got a pretty solid defense.
Our defense is at a disadvantage going into every single game because of the style of offense that we run. They
spend a lot of time out there.
They're
so
on
they
the
have
field a
to
lot.
be in shape.
You heard us yesterday. I think at one point we had like a 9-play touchdown drive that took us a minute and 48 seconds. Right. And when you think about, maybe in real time, that's like 8 or 10 minutes, max. Our defense is put in a tough position to have to come back out on the field. And so we're going to give up yards because teams get behind. We are up 17 points yesterday going into the fourth quarter, and we're going to start backing off and giving up yards and playing a bend, don't break defense. And so stat lines and those things, it's really hard to get too caught up in that with our style of offense and judge our defense based off of that. And so, I think that our defense is a pretty good defense and will continue to get better. But we've got to be able to parlay the success that we've had in the last 36 months into recruiting.
Absolutely. All right. Hey, let's get to this phone call. Andrew is on the phone. Andrew, thanks for calling, man. What's going on?
Hey, guys. I just wanted to comment on the game. I thought it was very uncharacteristic of us with all the drops. Didn't really count how many we had, but the biggest telling thing was, I don't know all the football terminology. I want to say it's either bootleg or wheel routes, where DG was just throwing an outside pass to, I think, McCray and Killins and Otis, and I think it was like 0 for 4. And I just found it very odd with all the uncharacteristic drops. With this, I'm not sure if it was the weather or maybe the sun. And the second thing is I'm just wondering how we're struggling to put teams away. I mean, when we were up 17 points in the fourth quarter, I thought we had it. But when we botched that field goal and they were able to drive down the field and possibly win this game, it really got me concerned. I don't know if that was complacency or just Tulane having one last effort of trying to pull the upset. But I feel like this team still struggles on the road, and I don't know if it really answers much questions of whether or not we moved past it and figured out what to do.
I think those are some good points, Andrew. And obviously, honestly, I felt the same way when we played Pitt, right? We went up 31-21 against Pitt, and before, we hadn't lost a game in a really long time at that point in that game. And you're thinking, oh, we got a 10-point lead. This game's over based on our offense ability. And that wasn't the case. So I agree with you. We do need to be able to find ways to put teams away and really take the right approach to do that. And sometimes you can get comfortable with the lead. And your point to the circumstances yesterday, it was an 11 a.m. kickoff there in New Orleans. And people are saying, what does that mean, Kyle? Well, I hated early games.
You said this every time we've talked about it.
Certainly when there's nobody in the stadium. And we should probably, Andrew, and that was a good point, we should probably credit our fan base.
Absolutely.
After a terrible loss at Tulsa, our fan base showed up yesterday.
Big time. There were more fans there for UCF than there were for Tulane. I guarantee it.
And I did want to make that point today because although there is sometimes negative talk and fans frustrated and fans pointing fingers, we should all be happy today that our program showed up in force. Obviously, New Orleans is not a hard draw to get a fan base to go out there, but we should be proud of the way that we represented ourselves, especially after a tough loss 2 weeks ago.
And I think that these dropped passes was just an anomaly of this game. I mean, this has not been a consistent problem. If that was a consistent problem of catching balls out of the backfield, I would be very worried about that, but it hasn't been. So, I mean, I'm not concerned with it. It just happened to be this game. Something was a little off. Maybe it was throwing Greg McCrae back in there that made
Who
things
knows?
a little bit weird or whatever. A couple of those, at least 3 or 4 of those were his drops as well, I believe. So I don't know how many. I
think Andrew was referring to
but
like a swing pass more than like a wheel or whatever the other term was. We got to be able to catch the ball in space if you're a running back, in a bubble or a swing type of route. And I think that the dynamic of the game changes if we're able to catch some of those passes in the flat and turn them into 15, 20-yard gains. Maybe the game looks different. So, yes, it's important to highlight those drops because they may have been potential game changers.
Absolutely. All right, man. Andrew, thank you very much. Appreciate it again.
Take care.
All righty. So, yeah, there was a couple of things that I had on my thing here. One of the things was fan support. Huge turnout from fans. And, the coaches and everybody, know that.
Yeah.
In fact, Heupel at one point, said that in his statement. Let me play real quick his opening statement real quick here.
From the postgame?
Yeah, from the postgame. Here we go.
Proud of the way your kids competed today, man. Competed for 60 minutes. Obviously, some things we did in the fourth quarter made it, a one-possession game there at the end. But I thought our kids were resilient all day long and handled the ups and downs really well. Huge turnout from Knight Nation and supported and brought a lot of energy to our sidelines as well. Appreciate that.
So right there in his that's his opening statement before he answers any questions, and he brought it up, and he does not do that very often. So that was exactly.
Our fan base did a great job getting out there yesterday, despite if they were frustrated.
That was a
or
three-way clap
frustrated.
there. That was all three of us clapping for Knight Nation, by the way. Yeah.
I don't know how many people that were out on Bourbon Street last night woke up to actually listen today, but if you are listening, kudos for going out there.
Exactly. Yeah, I had a couple people texting me during the game that were there, and they were, telling me that they had a great time on Bourbon Street, of course. I get a couple more clips here, so we might as well get them out of the way. This one is hype on DG running the game, Dylan Gabriel, because he ran running in the game. Ran quite a bit. He was our leading rusher, and somebody asked him basically if it was planned or it was just a thing that just happened.
Some of it designed just based on what they were doing with the box and trying to make the numbers right in the run game. Some of it was just scrambles and him making plays. Thought he did a great job. His best game of using his feet in the right way throughout the course of the game.
So
definitely his best game running the football, and something that we need to be able to hang our hats on in the future. Is that ability, because what separated us from wins and losses for 2 years was McKenzie's ability to convert first downs on 3rd and long with his legs and keep defenses honest, and we're starting to see Dylan do that.
And a lot of things going our way that people, I don't think, realize sometimes. Through those 2 years, a lot of things just went our way.
Well, let's just even think back to the first conference championship with Coach Frost. Memphis had a chance to win that game with field goals. Now, granted, it was a long field goal, but if they make a 49-yard field goal, they win the championship. In the next two, we don't go to the Peach Bowl and a number of things.
Lots of things
have gone our way for sure.
Yeah, lots of things definitely could have gone the other way. Let's do one more clip here, and then we're going to take a little bit of a break. Let's hear what Heupel had to say on Mac coming in and playing.
He did a great job when he was put into the football game of using things that he's natural at to create big changing game or momentum changing plays, and did a great job running with the football, getting his pads down, getting us into short yardage situations, chewing up time in the 4-minute. Did a great job on the pass play, on the 4th and 2 to A-Rob, and couldn't be happier for A-Rob, man. A kid that continues to push and get better.
All right, well, Mac did a great job, I think, when he did come in. He obviously does very well, on the goal line situations. I'm glad that he just gets in the game, to be honest with you. It was an unfortunate situation that happened this year to make this whole thing go for him the way that it has. So, all right, let's take a little bit of break, and then we're going to come back and we'll talk more on that.
your breath. The home of the NFL is ESPN 580 Orlando. Yes! Another triple header Sunday. First at 1 p.m., the Miami Dolphins travel to Cleveland to try to get a win on the struggling Browns. Then at 4:30, the Dallas Cowboys and the New England Patriots clash in Foxborough. Then at 7:30, the Green Bay Packers travel to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. It's all right here on Orlando's home for the NFL. ESPN 580 and FM 96.5 HD2.
The average car or truck on the road today is 11 years old. Unfortunately, the average part on the average car or truck wasn't designed to last that long. So how do you keep your vehicle running after the warranty runs out? Budget You Pull It. Our self-service auto salvage yard has Winter Garden's largest selection of auto parts at the lowest prices. And with the holidays on the way, you won't overexert yourself or your wallet. Budget, the letter U, pullit.com. We also buy scrap metal in any quantity.
Island H2O Live, a new wave of water park.
Experience the next generation of fun at Island H2O Live. You choose the music. You choose the lighting. And you choose where to share your memorable moments at Florida's newest and most immersive water park.
Island H2O Live.
Now open in Kissimmee, located off US 192 and State Road 429 on Inspiration Boulevard.
Island H2O Live.
Car crash, slip or fall. Call Freeman Injury Law. 800-561-7777.
This is Ken Phegley from Freeman Injury Law, and I drive I-4 every day just like you do. I see the same accidents and the same wrecks. The difference is, if I'm involved in an accident, I know my rights. Do you? Call us today for a free consult. 1-800-561-7777. Our office is in downtown Orlando.
800-561-7777.
Oviedo Brewing Company is the hottest microbrewery in Central Florida. Located 7 miles from UCF at the Oviedo Mall, this 8,800 square foot brewery just opened its doors 6 months ago and has already crafted 13 unique beer flavors and counting in their tap room. The tap room contains different styles of beverages, including ciders, wines, and craft sodas. Not only do they have amazing beers, they also have a full kitchen with gourmet pizzas, wings, and tacos. Oviedo Brewing has activities for each day of the week, such as Taco Tuesdays, Trivia Wednesdays, Pizza and Pint on Thursdays, plus live music on Friday and Saturday evening. But the best is Sunday brunch with unlimited beer mimosas. Need a spot for game day? Oviedo Brewing is just the place with their large TVs to catch all the live games. You will also find Oviedo Brewing at UCF tailgating sampling beers. And OBC support for the Knights doesn't stop there. If you need a spot for UCF away games, come to Oviedo Brewing Company. You can get all the details on their Instagram or Facebook page. Follow them at Oviedo Brewing CO. Download the Untapped app, and you can find out what beers are on tap. The food menu is also available on their website, oviedobrewingco.com.
Shoot Straight, a premier Smith & Wesson M&P dealer, cares about Central Florida. They offer concealed carry classes at their 2 Central Florida locations in Apopka and Castleberry. Shoot Straight has all the top brands and is the place to go for anything firearms. They carry brands like Sig Sauer, Beretta, Springfield, and Kimber. Plus, they have gun safes from American Security. Get more info at shoot-straight.com or call 407-889-0842. Shoot Straight, the first choice for anything firearms.
Now you can listen to ESPN 580 Orlando on your smart speaker.
Alexa, play ESPN 580.
Hear all your favorite ESPN 580 shows just by saying,
"Hey Alexa, play ESPN 580 on TuneIn."
ESPN 580 Orlando from TuneIn. And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, we are back live from the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studio. This is Andrew Phegley alongside Kyle Israel and Sam Albuquerque taking your calls, 844-225-5580 on the Dever Team line, or taking your text 21232 on the Little Greek Fresh Grill text line, or you can tweet at me at AP_Knightline on Twitter. I got a text real quick here that I want to get to. I love the play calling in this game. Without a few drops, we run away with it and win big. So I'm glad that there's at least a couple people that are a little bit happier with the play calling. I thought that it was good. I love going for it on 4th down and all that stuff. in the right situation. I love it.
Well, and we probably would have converted another one. We bounced one off Jacob Harris's face on 4th and 8 on a 10-yard out route that. And I hate calling out the player, but I can't do anything else when it bounces off your face mask.
It's right there in your. You have to be able to see it if it's coming right at your face.
Yeah,
you know.
so.
I mean, yes, you have to put your arms up to catch it, but yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, there was a lot of other stuff that went on in the American this week as well. So let's listen real quick to Jeff Allen and see what he has to say on that.
Time now to take a look around the American. 19th-ranked Cincinnati locks down the East Division, surviving another close battle as they beat Temple 15-13. The winning margin coming with Kobe Bryant's 98-yard return of a blocked extra point for a defensive 2-point conversion. Cincinnati will face Memphis next week for the chance to host the conference championship game. Brady White threw for 222 yards and 2 touchdowns, speaking of the Tigers, as they shrugged off 2 early turnovers to beat South Florida 49-10 to retain a share of first place in the AAC West. Navy quarterback Malcolm Perry generated 357 yards of total offense and scored the game-winning touchdown in a 35-28 victory over number 25 SMU. Holton Ahlers scored on a 2-yard run with 3:31 remaining as East Carolina rallied to a 31-24 victory over Connecticut, and Houston down Tulsa 24-14. Marquez Stevenson had a 94-yard kickoff return for 6 in that one. I'm Jeff Allen. We'll recap the weekend in football, including my nickel's worth on UCF's 34-31 win at Tulane because 2 cents is not enough, as well as men's and women's soccer, volleyball, and men's and women's basketball. All that and more in this week's AAC report only on the Knightline Sports Network.
All right. Well, I love what Jeff Allen does, by the way. He really, really does great stuff. You can find that on the Knightline Sports Network, wherever you find podcasts. One of the things that I gathered from that, we definitely know at this point who the best two teams are in the American after this week, Cincinnati and Memphis. The conference got better this year.
They did.
Big time.
They did.
I think that attributes to a couple of our losses as well. Not the one at Tulsa. That was a fluke, I think. Tulsa's had our number for a number of years, though, obviously. And we can't forget about that. But Cincinnati, a great team. Temple gave them all they had yesterday. I don't know if you had a chance to watch that game. That was a heck of a game. And Memphis just handled the Cows over there really good. So.
Well, Cincinnati reminds me of the type of season that we've had the last 2 years. They squeak a game out against East Carolina where they definitely should have lost. There's been a couple other games that have been close where they've pulled it out. Give credit to the Cincinnati team for not only doing that against us, but continuing to do that throughout the course of the season, especially games, Andrew, where they had to win to stay in the position that they're currently in. And I think, does our success turn into direct recruiting opportunities for other teams in our conference? I think that it does, because now you've shown that the American, and although we say at UCF Power 6, the American is getting players that would normally be able to go and play at bigger, quote-unquote, bigger programs. And I think that our success in showing where we can go, and where we've been helps recruiting across the conference. And so we've elevated the play, and we're going to have to continue to beat that. But, yes, UCF is definitely a reason that this conference is improving and is legitimized.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam, any final thoughts? Really, this goes so fast. By the way,
every
just
time
flies by.
I was super impressed of DJ in goal line situations. I loved it. You could see that Tulane was scheming for him in the run when he came out there, and we ran that play action on 4th down and got the touchdown off a throw. It just reminds you how good DJ is and how deep our quarterback room actually is. So I would like. Moving forward, that hype will use a lot if DJ decides to stay next season and not transfer out, which is probably the more likely option, that we use him a lot more in goal line situations, because I think he can be that Tim Tebow to Dylan Gabriel's Chris Leak back to that Florida day. So I really love that.
And I think that he'll have, the opportunity, if he doesn't injure himself again in the offseason, would, if he stuck around, would have a little bit more opportunity. Kyle, any final thoughts really, really quick?
I hate USF, and so I look forward to this upcoming week every year, and I'm excited to see a really fun game on the national spotlight on Friday night. I hope that we have a sellout, Night Nation comes out in force, because my disdain for that program, as most of ours disdain for that program, is as high as it's ever been.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great game. It's a late game, so we have plenty of time to tailgate and all that stuff. Hey, thanks everyone for listening to Nightline the morning after this week. Really, really appreciate it. Appreciate the calls and everything else. Have a good one. We'll see you next week on 580 ESPN Orlando.